More than 1,000 North Koreans try to escape the country every year. They risk being killed, imprisoned, or trafficked as they escape through China, Mongolia, and different regions of Southeast Asia. This is Yeon Mi Park. She escaped North Korea when she was just 13 years old, and she described her ordeal to us.
I think just life was so unbearable in North Korea. I found this note that my sister left saying that go find this person and she will help you to go to China. We got that note and my mother and I found the person, that lady. And then she told me that she had a few daughters, but she sent them all to China and told me that she could help us to go to China. And we did not know that she was a broker or anything. Just we thought like this stranger woman wants to help us. And that's how we just followed her lead and we escaped that night, the very same day. Initially, I escaped to China and I was being sold and trafficked and slave for 2 years there.
Park wasn't alone. Around 70% of North Korean defectors are women, and many of them are targeted to be sold as brides or trafficked. Defectors are considered illegal migrant workers and are sent back to North Korea to face punishment if caught.
My mother and myself gave me cross the Gobi Desert to Mongolia. And from Mongolia, we were there a few months and then we flew to South Korea. I think that when I was crossing the Gobi Desert in like minus 40 degrees in 2009, I was 15 by then. I think I wasn't like scared of dying in that desert, just like thought like even this universe abandoned me. Like I was punished that I was born in North Korea. My crime was as simple as that I was born in that wrong side of the river.
She and her mother finally arrived in South Korea 2 years later in 2009. Once a North Korean defector makes it to South Korea, they're granted citizenship under the South Korean nationality law, which states that any person born on the Korean peninsula is eligible to be a South Korean citizen. But first, they have to go through a lengthy screening and re-education process. Once cleared, defectors enter the Settlement Support Center for North Korean refugees, commonly called Hanawon.
They put us into a place called Hanawon. Resettlement. So everyone think like once you escape, once you arrive in that land of freedom, people think that's the end of the story. Everyone is fine and happy, but that's not it.
Defectors spend up to 3 months learning the history of the Korean peninsula, along with basic life skills like how to use an ATM and shop for groceries. Many defectors are drastically behind in education, as North Korea emphasizes propaganda over skills like reading and math. It can be difficult for Hanawon officials to address the needs of the defectors due to the lack of information about North Korea. Defectors can be unprepared for things Hanawon doesn't teach, such as understanding South Korea's ultra-competitive social structure.
Do you know how South Korean kids like working entire night? They have all these specific tutors, all this unbelievable culture of education, that they spend all their life to go to these universities and study English or that you cannot ever catch up with them.
Additionally, social disparity and political tensions can lead to defectors facing discrimination from South Koreans.
I'm not welcomed. I am a second-class citizen here. So that was really entire in South Korea because people never said any positive things about me from coming from North Korea and being a defector, because that was a stigma that people just so like hard just like criticize and traumatize us for what we've gone through or where we are from. I think that's how hard it was as a defector, and really sadly there has been some people actually even went back to North Korea from South Korea. At some point, it was so overwhelming that I was thinking, just give me like enough frozen potatoes. I'm gonna just go back to North Korea.
Defectors can face a life of medical issues caused by malnutrition earlier in their lives. They're also at higher risk of anxiety, depression, and PTSD.
The suicide rate among North Korean defectors in South Korea is 3 times higher than South Koreans. And I think South Korea is one of the most high suicide rate countries.
Another challenge? Understanding freedom and the victory it brings.
To me, like freedom was like wearing jeans. or watching movies, or like listening to hip-hop songs. And that's how simple it was. Like maybe wearing earrings, because in North Korea we don't have any freedom. They tell us what to wear, what to listen, what to watch, you know. And in South Korea, for instance, like if you go shop, I mean, there are so many tons of the kinds of the pants. I mean, you gotta choose what you wanna wear. That's a very simple, even that was overwhelming for me. But I am very grateful that I was born in North Korea today, because I'm the winner, I survived, I fought for my freedom. It was not given to me, but I fought for it. So I want that North Korean defectors struggling in South Korea, that you should feel proud of yourself. And don't listen to anyone say that you are not enough, that you are different, you are not going to win, that you are the winner already.